If you descend nearly a mile beneath the ocean's surface, evolution starts to feel broken. Squids lose their familiar shapes, grow hooks instead of suckers, and stretch into things that barely look alive. The deeper you go, the more the ocean seems to abandon normal rules entirely. At roughly 4,900 feet below the ocean's surface, something strange begins to happen. The cute, recognizable animals from shallow reefs fade away, replaced by creatures that feel warped, exaggerated, and unsettling. Bodies stretch. Eyes grow enormous or disappear entirely. Appendages sprout where no appendages should exist. It looks less like natural evolution and more like a series of biological mistakes layered on top of each other. And among all animals affected by this transformation, squids are by far the most extreme. Squids are already unusual animals, even near the surface. They have flexible bodies, complex nervous systems, and an uncanny ability to change shape, color, and texture. That flexibility is exactly why the deep ocean reshapes them so dramatically. As conditions become darker, colder, and more pressurized, squids don't resist change. They lean into it. To understand why deep-sea squids become progressively more disturbing, you first have to understand where they live. Most people imagine squids as reef-dwelling animals that look something like the reef squid, a sleek, streamlined creature found in the sunlit surface waters, known as the epipelagic zone. These squids look familiar because this is where evolution still favors speed, camouflage, and normal anatomy. But once you descend into the twilight zone, the mesopelagic layer, the rules begin to shift. Light fades rapidly here. Shapes blur. Shadows dominate. Squids in the zone start to experiment with new adaptations. Firefly squids develop bioluminescence, glowing softly in the dark to communicate or confuse predators. Glass squids turn nearly transparent, their bodies dissolving into the water around them. These changes are strange, but not yet horrifying. That changes near the bottom of the twilight zone, where the Humboldt squid appears. Humboldt squids are the first sign that something has gone seriously wrong. These squids can exceed 6 feet in length and weigh close to 100 pounds. Unlike most squids, which rely on suckers alone, Humboldt squids evolved sharp hooks designed to rip flesh apart. Even more unsettling, they don't just hunt prey, they hunt each other. Humboldt squids are one of the few squid species known to cannibalize members of their own kind. They hunt in coordinated groups, flashing red and white patterns across their skin to communicate during attacks. They move fast, faster than a human can swim, and behave with a level of aggression rarely seen in invertebrates. This earned them the nickname Red Devils of the Sea. Despite their reputation, Humboldt squids are not considered a consistent threat to humans. Their hooks can injure divers, but they typically target smaller prey like fish, shrimp, and weaker squids. No confirmed human deaths have been attributed to them. Still, they represent a turning point. From this depth onward, squids stop feeling alien and start feeling hostile. Descend further into the midnight zone, and the transformation becomes undeniable. Here evolution abandons aesthetics completely. Squids no longer resemble streamlined hunters. They resemble biological experiments. One of the most disturbing examples is the Promocateuthus, often described as the squid with human teeth. Its mouth appears lined with pale, tooth-like structures that look disturbingly mammalian. These aren't actually teeth. They're folded lips of soft tissue surrounding a beak. But that explanation doesn't make the image any easier to process. Only one specimen has ever been captured, and it was barely an inch long. Whether larger versions exist remains unknown. Given how rarely we explore this depth, it's entirely possible that they do. Sharing this zone is a far more famous creature: the giant squid. The giant squid is the clearest example of deep-sea gigantism. It can reach lengths of over 40 feet and possesses the largest eyes in the entire animal kingdom. These eyes are not oversized for intimidation. They're oversized to detect faint traces of light from bioluminescent organisms in pitch-black water. Giant squids are ambush predators. They drift motionless, then strike suddenly with long feeding tentacles lined with toothed suckers. Their beaks are powerful enough to slice prey cleanly. They are one of the few animals known to regularly battle sperm whales, which dive thousands of meters into darkness to hunt them. Evidence of these battles appears on the whales themselves. Circular scars from suction cups mark whale skin, and squid beaks have been found inside whale stomachs. These encounters are likely what inspired ancient kraken myths. A creature large enough to fight whales doesn't need embellishment. Yet, despite their size, giant squids are not known to attack humans. The reason is simple. Humans don't belong at this depth. Under normal conditions, the two never meet. Below the midnight zone lies the abyssal zone, an environment so extreme it barely feels compatible with life. Sunlight never reaches this depth. Temperatures hover just above freezing. Pressure is immense. Food is scarce and arrives mostly as marine snow, tiny particles drifting down from far above. Here, squids become even stranger. Some abyssal squids abandon active swimming altogether. Their bodies become gelatinous, thin, and elongated. Asperateuthis, a squid that can reach 15 feet in length, appears almost ghost-like. It likely drifts, sensing vibrations rather than chasing prey. We don't know much more than that, because observing it is extraordinarily difficult. At the bottom of the abyssal zone lives the heaviest squid ever discovered, the colossal squid. Despite the similar name, the colossal squid is not closely related to the giant squid. It is shorter, but vastly thicker, reaching lengths near 35 feet and weights exceeding 1,000 pounds. It is a brute force ambush predator. Instead of long, grasping tentacles, it uses rotating hooks that dig into flesh and hold fast. Once the colossal squid strikes, escape is unlikely. Its beak is capable of slicing bone. Its eyes are enormous, rivaling and sometimes exceeding those of the giant squid. In a close-range confrontation, the colossal squid would likely overpower a giant squid through sheer mass and strength. Fortunately, such encounters probably never occur. Giant squids inhabit slightly shallower waters, while colossal squids are mostly restricted to the deep Antarctic abyss. What they do share is a common predator. Sperm whales hunt both. Whales return from these dives bearing scars from hooks and suction cups, silent evidence of violent encounters in total darkness. Again, beaks remain the only physical proof left behind, indigestible reminders of battles far below human reach. Deepest still lies the Hadal Zone, the absolute bottom of the ocean. This realm begins around 6,000 meters and extends into trenches like the Mariana Trench. Here, life nearly disappears, and yet something remains. The bigfin squid exists at the edge of this final frontier. It is one of the most unsettling animals ever recorded, with arms bent at sharp angles and trailing filaments stretching far behind it. The bigfin squid looks less like an animal and more like a drifting nightmare. We have never captured a full adult. We have never observed one alive in controlled conditions. All we know comes from grainy deep-sea footage. These squids appear to drift rather than swim, conserving energy in an environment where energy is precious beyond measure. The strange elbow-like bends in their arms likely prevent tangling while allowing precise control of their trailing filaments. Their translucent bodies reflect almost no light, rendering them nearly invisible even to bioluminescent predators. Everything about them suggests extreme specialization. This isn't horror for horror's sake. It's survival. Movement costs energy. Energy is rare, so these squids evolved to move as little as possible, to exist rather than pursue. Their creepiness is a byproduct of efficiency, not malice, and that's what makes them truly unsettling. We don't know how many species like this exist. We've explored less than 5% of the deep ocean. Giant squids, colossal squids, and glass squids were all discovered by accident. If animals like the bigfin squid can exist almost entirely unseen, it's reasonable to assume others do too. The deeper you go, the less evolution cares about familiarity. Squids don't become monsters because the ocean is cruel. They become monsters because the deep demands it.